ready?
Yep.
All right, call our Monday, September 21st meeting to order. Please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Morning, everybody. Welcome. It's nice to have some clean air again.
Yes, it is.
I think it was starting to drag everybody down a little bit, wasn't it? We'll open this meeting with public comment on any subject that's not on the agenda and that the commission has jurisdiction over. Is there any public comment? Any public comment? All right. Yes, sir.
We're new to the community. I just want to say what a pleasure it is to live here in Townsend. This community is just awesome.
All right.
I came here from Texas, and it's like night and day.
All
It's
right.
a breath of fresh air to be here.
Well, good. Welcome. We're glad you're here. With that, I guess we will move on to some of our business. I have the meeting minutes from September 8th.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from September 8th.
I will second that. Is there any public discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, we've received some payments. We've received the Family Medical Clinic payment, $1,200. And we received a horse rescue restitution that was paid out of Pilt. These funds will be returned back to Pilt, and the amount is $45,824.08. Good morning. We have vendor claims in the amount of $54,812.62.
Make a motion to pay claims in set amount.
Hello?
Yes, are you there? Hello? Can you hear us?
Hello?
Hello?
Hi.
Okay, there we go. Here's a motion to approve the claims.
I'll make a motion to pay claims in set amount.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, I'll second that. Motion's made and seconded to approve claims in the amount of $54,812.62. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Have another batch of claims in the amount of $76,042.28.
Make a motion to pay claims in set amount.
Okay, I will second. Motion's made and seconded to pay claims in the amount of $76,042.28. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Spending a lot of money this morning. More claims in the amount of $67,307.36.
Make a motion to pay claims in set amount.
Is there a second? Okay, I will second. Motion's made and seconded. Pay claims in the amount of $67,307.36. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
It's on the last page there. Have payroll here for $179,344.11.
I'll make a motion to pay payroll claims a set amount.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, motion's made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Excuse me. And another payroll in the amount of $227,193.55.
I'll make a motion to pay payroll claims a set amount.
Second the motion.
Motion's made and seconded. Pay claims or pay payroll in the amount of $227,193.55. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, we do have some ongoing advisory board appointments. I'd like to make that? Thank you.
Of course I would. Good morning.
Good morning, Nicole.
So I have two letters of to be presented for consideration for appointments to the Board of Health. Currently, the Board of Health is a 5-member board. However, 2 of those places are being filled by commissioners as placeholders until we could get members of the public to apply and participate. So I've reached out to the Board of Health members this morning and was able to get a general consensus of whom they would like to appoint to the board. First of all, I'm going to read these letters into the record. And I forgot my glasses again, so bear with me.
You can wear mine.
I appreciate it. I may take you up on it later. So this first letter is dated August 27th, 2020, to the Broadwater County Board of Health. I am submitting my name for consideration to be appointed to the Health Board to represent the citizens of Broadwater County. I have been a professional manager most of my adult life. I have experience in the medical field, albeit limited, as an EMT for over 15 years, giving me an appreciation of basic medical protocols. I desire to help the county make informed decisions through research and discussions with appropriate persons and present the finding to the board in order to achieve the most informed decisions. Thank you for your consideration. Tim Poole, Townsend, Montana. Second letter, to the Broadwater County Board of Health. I am sending this letter of intent to introduce myself as well as show my interest and skill set for serving on the Broadwater County Board of Health. I have been involved in permitting and environmental work for 20 plus years. I graduated from MSU in 2000 with a degree in abused land reclamation and minor in soils. My early work career consisted of working for engineering companies in Helena for nearly 10 years. I worked on several large projects for the BLM and Forest Service where I created environmental plans to help prevent erosion, control weeds, create roads, search for resources, and more. During this time, a large portion of my work consisted of designing subdivisions and getting them approved through the county and DEQ. This included environmental assessments, all environmental permitting, lot layout, road layout, stormwater design, conducting public meetings, and other necessary processes to get final plat on a subdivision. I have worked on subdivisions ranging from 1 lot to over 250 lots in size. I have worked on subdivisions with individual water and sewer, shared water and sewer, and public water and sewer. I became very familiar with county processes and the environmental permitting requirements of DEQ. For the past 11 years, I have worked for the State of Montana Open Cut Program, where I am now the Acting Open Cut Field Services Section Supervisor. I helped to revamp the Open Cut Program, earning the Governor's Award. I created the current permitting forms that are used by operators to obtain their open cut permits, helped implement the GIS mapping program for open cut, and started the UAV program that open cut scientists currently use for site inspections. I am a certified remote pilot. During my 11 years working for the state, I have continued to work on subdivisions and have obtained numerous approvals for clients through DEQ. I am knowledgeable of both county subdivision requirements as well as DEQ subdivision requirements. Additionally, I have worked to obtain water rights from DNRC as well as permits from other agencies including DEQ, DNRC, Floodplain, Broadwater Conservation District, Sage Grouse Program, and more. I would like to express my interest in serving on the Board of Health for Broadwater County. I feel my background in subdivisions, permitting, and other environmental work would be a good addition to the Broadwater County Board of Health. Sincerely, James J. Connor.
All right, thanks, Nicole. Well, it's nice to be able to have community members step forward and their willingness to fulfill these positions on our advisory boards. And they're a great asset to the county, and we appreciate that. I know that the health board has been trying to move towards having someone with more environmental experience, kind of to help Sean in his work that he does. I guess, is there a recommendation?
And that is the recommendation from the Board of Health.
Yeah.
For JJ
May I
Connor.
just bring up a couple of points that I think need to be addressed before we move forward on this? First of all, I just got news of this about 30 minutes ago, so I haven't really had time to get into it, but I do know a couple of errors. One is the Board of Health is not an advisory board to the commission. The Board of Health is a governing board. They can make decisions on their own. That's why commissioners are on it. I only know of one other county that doesn't have commissioners serving on their Board of Health. They own a hospital, and my understanding is they have hospital personnel for the hospital they own on their Board of Health. So that's not a comparable to Broadwater County. The other thing is, I'm looking for it now, and I haven't been able to find it yet, but there are statutes for the Board of Health, and the statute says, this is from memory, but all 3 commissioners serve on the Board of Health, but I believe we can appoint up to a certain number. Right now it's a 5-member board. We may be able to appoint more than that to serve with the commissioners on the Board of Health. And then the other thing is what does our resolution say? Every board has a resolution that has the parameters for that board when it was created. If that resolution states, as a statute, that the commissioners will serve on the Board of Health, then we have to follow the resolution. If we want to change that to making it a 7-member board, because I think these 2 applicants are fantastic and I would absolutely welcome them on any board, but I know that has to go through a public process. We have to have a public process that takes the Board of Health from a 5-member to a 7-member board, if that's allowed in statute. So I think before moving forward with this, we've got to get those details. But the most important thing is the Board of Health is not advisory to the commission. It is a decision-making board in its own right.
Okay, thank you.
just
Yep,
got
yep.
told that, excuse me, I just got told that their voice is not picking up, so.
It's on.
Yeah. Try to talk into it now and see if it just.
Test 1, 2, 3. Can you guys hear me out there? Yeah.
It's coming through.
Okay. All right, so you want to just table this, Mike, till we get that?
Yeah, I think we
Sorted
better
out.
table until we find out about that resolution.
Okay, so we'll just table this till we find out a little bit more about our resolution, and we'll proceed with that next week then. Okay, first thing on our agenda is the Lake Vista subsequent minor subdivision lot number 5.
Mary Poppins with this bag. It's never ending. Special pen in case you need it. Paper on top so you don't go cross-eyed.
Yeah.
All right. So I am here requesting final plat approval of the Lake Vista Lot 5 major subdivision. This is just north of Townsend off of Alaska Trail, I'm sorry. Condition number 1. And 2, actually, are in that same packet. Plans for sewage treatment and water supply shall be submitted to the Montana Department of Environmental Quality for review and approval. The certificate of subdivision approval shall be filed with the final plat. And I'm going to roll into condition number 2 because it's the same item here. The stormwater drainage plan shall be submitted to DEQ for review and recommendation. All specifications and requirements of the approved plan shall be met. Condition number 3, The applicant will be required to submit the preliminary and final plat drawings in electronic format to Broadwater County in ArcGIS, AutoCAD, or MicroStation format. Additional materials may be requested by the county in electronic format to facilitate review of application materials. And this is just confirmation that the developer's representative has indeed emailed me those documents. Number 4, plans for the location and installation of individual mailboxes shall be reviewed and approved by the United States Postal Service prior to installation. And what you have there is a letter from the postmaster here in Townsend. Number 5, the subdivision plat shall provide a 60-foot public road easement for the continuation of roads between adjacent subdivided and unsubdivided properties, excuse me, for the convenient movement of traffic, connection of neighborhoods, effective provision of emergency services, and provision of utilities. And this is also showing on the proposed final plat. Number 6, the extension of Alaska Trail must be designed in accordance with the Broadwater County subdivision road standards and stamped by a professional engineer. A letter from the PE shall be provided to the county stating that the road and any improvements have been constructed in accordance with the approved plans and specifications and that he or she has completed an inspection of the road and any improvements.
All right, so I know that we did have some concerns earlier about the pipes going across that road, and those issues have been addressed.
They have. I believe, I've not verified this with the contractor, but I believe they have put some extensions on those culverts to allow for a more easy transition, if you will.
Right.
There is still the design of the road. There is a bit of a hump in it, if you will. And I don't know if you've driven down that road in the last couple of...
Commissioner Delger and I both have gone
Okay.
out there. The north side looks to be pretty good. It's the south side, I think, that there's a little bit of concern on where it's... Seems like it's a little bit low still. It provides that big... There's no line of sight as you approach that culvert looking north to see if, you know, if anybody's coming or somebody's on that other side of that. I think that would be my only concern.
I guess my concern is that thing's like a launching pad. I foresee some kid out there on a motorcycle flying over that thing and not realizing that there's a, you know, there's a pretty good drop off on the back side of it. And I don't know. I'd like to see that addressed some other way.
Okay. So an option for you would be to have our county engineer look at it at the expense to this developer. And I'm going to read to you from the signed findings of fact and order report that was sent to the developer. I'm going to take a snippet of this.
Okay.
It says the applicant is financially responsible for actual outside engineering, consulting, professional and or contracted service fees, etc., at the sole discretion of the county for additional review and or final plat approval of the proposed subdivision. So you could have that option.
I would be in favor of doing that.
I think so too. I don't really think it's gonna be a lot to fix that. It's just a matter of adding maybe some more material.
I would think so, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to continue on with these conditions just in case there are any other concerns,
Okay.
so we don't have to
Right.
follow back up with this again, correct?
Okay. Sounds good.
Condition number 7. Ready? Condition number 7 states, prior to filing the final plat, the applicant shall adequately fund or improve a proportionate share of Alaska Trail from its intersection with U.S. Highway 287 to the first cul-de-sac. The road improvements would have to be constructed to a minimum of the Broadwater County subdivision road standards and must be certified as meeting county subdivision road standards by a registered engineer. All specifications and requirements of the approved plan shall be met. So what you have there is a letter from the developer's engineer stating that those improvements have been made. I'm going to give you this while Commissioner Delger's reading that. Condition number 8. The applicant and the Fire Protection Authority having jurisdiction shall use their best efforts to draft a fire protection plan specifically for this subdivision in accordance with the Broadwater County subdivision regulations. The plan shall be equally acceptable to the FPAHJ, the applicant, and the county governing authority. The plan shall adequately address the fire risk analysis, all findings of fact, and appropriate mitigation measures. In the event the parties are unable to come to agreement by the final plat submittal, the applicant shall become eligible to provide the per lot cash in lieu fee for water supply as may be defined in the Broadwater County subdivision regulations in effect at the time of submittal. In the fire plan as proposed, the developer is proposing, and it's been approved by the fire chief, to pay $1,000 per lot cash in lieu of water supply at time of lot sale.
And also, you see there is a variance requested for the length of the road.
That's correct, yes. Thank you for catching that.
Yep.
To add to that, with these, we refer to them as half streets, these easements to connect to adjacent properties. I think this will be beneficial in the long run, especially for those developments out there north of town. Grandview Manor is in the area and has 2 underground water storage tanks. So, and which this development is not connecting to that one. However, the one further north, North Country, is proposing that. So I think if we continue that trend, the length of the cul-de-sacs, granting that variance is beneficial, if you will.
Okay.
Number 9. And you'll note on the top there, number 9 is the weed management plan. It needs a signature. So when the owner of this property, the developer, comes in to sign and record these documents, he'll sign that weed plan at that time. Number 9 states, prior to any development and/or soil disturbance, a weed management plan for the proposed development shall be submitted to the County Weed District for review and approval. All specifications and requirements of the approved plan shall be met. In the interest of time, I'm just going to keep moving on, if that's okay with you, Commissioner Delger. I'm going to take that as a yes. 10, and then we'll go to A. 10, the book and page reference to the restrictive covenants filed with the county clerk and recorder shall be indicated on the face of the final plat. In addition, restrictive covenants, revocable or alterable only with the consent of the Board of County Commissioners, shall be placed upon the property and shall provide for the following. A, per the subdivision application, all lots shall be used for residential purposes only. B, notification of the potential health risk from radon concentrations, and that such risk can be evaluated through soil tests and mitigated through radon abatement techniques incorporated into structures. C, a notification that all dwelling units within the subdivision should be constructed to specifications which meet or exceed equivalent provisions in the applicable state building code for this seismic zone, which is Zone 3. D, notification of the potential degradation of existing emergency services due to the potential for growth in a rural area. E, any additional replacement or relocated utility lines shall be installed underground in accordance with the county subdivision regulations unless otherwise determined by the utility provided. F, a no access restriction along U.S. Highway 287 with the exception of the approach onto Highway 287 for the internal access roads. G, any exterior lighting shall be directed downward to minimize visibility beyond the property lines. H, notification of the presence of agricultural operations in the vicinity. I, a waiver of the right to protest to join a special district for the purpose of providing community water and/or wastewater treatment system improvements and/or maintenance. J, a restrictive covenant binding the landowner, any heirs, successors, and assigns, and all future owners of property within the subdivision, agreeing therein to hold Broadwater County harmless and indemnify Broadwater County from all claims, demands, obligations, suits, causes of action, damages, and liability, including the county's costs and attorney's fees arising in any manner whatsoever out of or relating to the existence, use, operation, repair, and or maintenance of the following. Sub-item 1, earthquake fault zone and any seismic activity, and number 2, water availability. K, each lot shall be maintained in a clean, attractive, and weed-free manner. Noxious weeds must be pulled, sprayed, or cut prior to seed maturity. L, a prohibition of the storage of foods, garbage, or continuous feeding of domestic pets outdoors or other activities that creates an attractive nuisance for wildlife species. Hay or alfalfa storage and feeding are not prohibited where livestock are permitted. M, lots shall only allow for livestock if a small acreage livestock management plan is reviewed and approved by the county extension agent and submitted to the county. Each lot owner shall be required to create and adhere to their own livestock management plan. N, all cats and dogs must be restrained, penned, or otherwise under the control of their owner at all times. Prior to filing the final plat, the following improvements shall be installed or otherwise guaranteed. A, roads. They have been installed. And we'll follow up with that. 11B, any necessary improvements required by the stormwater drainage plan, weed management plan, fire protection plan, or approach permits. And C, utilities abutting and available to each lot, electrical and telephone shall be underground. And I believe on there you can see where the power boxes are located. I think they show on there, those, they might be pink.
Pink ones, yep.
Prior to filing the final plat, the applicant shall A, provide proof that all taxes and special assessments assessed and levied on the property are paid for the current tax year, including any past delinquencies. There's their tax bill showing a zero balance due. 12B, provide documentation, an abstract of title or platting certificate showing that the applicant is the lawful owner of the property with the apparent authority to subdivide the same, showing the names of lien holders or claimants of record, and the written consent to the subdivision by the owners of the land, if other than the applicant, and any lien holders or claimants of record against the land. And that concludes my list of conditions.
Okay.
Rather, your list of conditions. You finished here?
Yes.
Okay. So I guess we've followed our statute 76.330 or 608, and we did have the written findings of facts. The proposal underwent the review, and all the impacts on agriculture, local service, environment, wildlife, and public health and safety. We have complied with the survey requirements, the local subdivision regulations, and the easements. There's a legal and physical address to each parcel, and I guess our only decision is, do we want to approve this? We can approve this with a condition, or no? Okay. So do we want to have our county engineer look at this road?
I would think it would be a good idea.
Okay.
I'll reach out to him today then.
I'd like to just make a couple of comments.
Please come up. State your name for the record, please, Bernadette.
You bet. Bernadette Swenson from Schauber Surveying and representative of EDJ LLC, the developers of this. Just for the record, the culverts were sized and designed by DEQ, which is the reason why there has to be a hump, because of the size they require, and they can't be buried down. Number two, the condition of approval was that the road built to county specification and signed off by an engineer, which that condition was fulfilled. Number three, I understand safety concerns, and I personally have not been out there, but I know at the time of final approval, no additional conditions can be added. And I feel like, you know, now letting the county have to engineer certify this also is an addition of another condition.
Yep.
So those are my comments.
All right.
Nicole, can that, wasn't approval of the preliminary plat also included some road work to be done on these culverts, right?
Let me read the condition. I believe that was condition number 6. I'll read this again. The extension of Alaska Trail must be designed in accordance with the Broadwater County subdivision road standards and stamped by a professional engineer. A letter from the PE shall be provided to the county stating that the road and any improvements have been constructed in accordance with the approved plans and specifications, and that he or she has completed an inspection of the road and any improvements. So I believe that would cover the installation and placement of the culverts as well, because they are part of the roadway.
So wouldn't that carry over to before you approve the final, that condition still had to be met?
That is correct.
I just see kids going out there and launching off that pad. And I guarantee you, until you get houses built there, they'll be a wreck there. And the other part of that issue is that right where those culverts is supposedly the parkland. So if you got a bunch of kids playing here and somebody comes flying over that hill, which, kids probably won't be out there at 12 o'clock at night, but somebody's gonna be flying over that hill. And I foresee a Kerr Road tragedy where 6 kids got killed because they didn't have the approach to the road. And that's what I foresee going on there. And that's really the only reason I have a huge safety concern for the way that thing was done.
So Corey, I know I'm putting you on the spot here, but I'm going to defer to you on this. Would it be an additional condition of approval if the county chose to have their engineer, our county contracted engineer, give a second opinion on this road?
I've never looked at it. I don't even know. I have not been involved in this at all. There's no way I can tell you that right now.
Okay.
Is today final approval?
They're requesting final approval.
Or is that preliminary approval?
That's correct.
So what was the engineering condition for preliminary?
That the road designed in accordance with county subdivision standard and stamped by a PE, which it has been.
Who's the PE?
I don't recall what his name was.
Rick Castile.
Yeah.
Rick Castile.
Rick Castile? What's your deadline for final approval?
So the county actually does not have a deadline. The developer does. Of 3 years. And this was given preliminary plat approval on October 7th, 2019. So the county is under no deadline to make their decision.
I guess, are you suggesting that the design that was a preliminary approval condition was not adequately fulfilled? That's the question.
Potentially, I suppose. And I don't want to speak for the commissioners.
I guess we both gone out and looked at it, and there is a safety concern as to how that has been completed. Even though the engineer has signed off on it.
Okay, I mean, are there any suggestions here? I mean, can the engineer explain the design and why there's the safety
Well,
is not?
I know the engineer reviewed it and went out and looked at it, and he didn't like it either. That's when he ordered the landowner to extend the culverts longer and add more fill. I've not been out there since then, but then he inspected it after that and approved it and signed it. So my question is, are you asking the county road engineer or the county engineer to verify the work of the hired engineer? Because ultimately, I know we've had this argument before where they didn't want the county, because then the county becomes involved and certifies an engineered road, so then they can become liable for it, where this engineer, in his professional capability of signing and stamping, he's taking on that burden that he's certifying it.
Right, so you're saying if there's an accident out there that the engineer that designed it is going to carry the burden?
Not necessarily, but I'm saying the responsibility of the road being engineered is now on him.
Yeah.
And
So-
his professional license.
I guess what we're saying is if we approve this, then that responsibility falls on us.
I understand where you're coming from, but I just don't want to get in a predicament where you're having an engineer verify another engineer. That would be like hiring another surveyor to check our surveying, hiring someone else to check DEQ's work, or getting into a point where we're adding additional conditions at final approval. Not saying going forward, if the county wanted to add a professional engineer, stamp the road, plus the county adding, certifying it.
Well, I mean, if you're not satisfied, I don't see any reason why you would rush to final approval right now. I think the question is whether all those conditions from preliminary approval have been met. You can't, you do get into trouble if you try to add new conditions now, but surely if you're saying it hasn't been met, it's not a safely designed road, let's talk to the engineer, and let's go and look at the road. That'd be my question. Prove it today that you're stuck with it, accept it. If you're not under a deadline, but then let's take a little bit more time to make sure it's done right.
I guess that's where I'm at.
So basically what's going on here is that we're liable for the road no matter what, because if we approve the subdivision, that means we approve the road. And then if we go back and have our engineer approve it, that means we approve that means that we're liable for the engineer approving the road. So at what point are we not suable?
Well, you're suable no matter what. I mean, that's not the issue. I mean, the issue is if you think you've identified a safety hazard that you'd like to prevent, that's the most prudent thing to do. But then, if anyone ever gets a wreck on a highway or a city street or a county road, they can always try to sue whoever governs that road. So suing someone is not the same as winning the lawsuit, but usually it can be a long, arduous process to get to wherever that outcome is.
Well, I think it's important that we've identified this concern and that we're going to address it. And I think this is a way to address it.
I would still prefer to have the county or hired engineer to take a look at it.
Okay.
Can I schedule some time to meet with you before I work with our county engineer? Okay.
And for clarification, can I ask exactly what you're going to need from the county engineer?
I think some kind of a verification of what they've got built there isn't a safety hazard, which I believe it is. I mean, the backside of that road, if you don't know that road and you're going down that road at 35 miles an hour, I'm pretty sure you're probably going to end up getting launched. Anything over 35, you're definitely going to get launched. That's my belief. I mean, I haven't drove over there at 35 miles an hour because I'm not going to do that. But the thing is, if you get some kid down there racing down that road or some drunk adult doing something stupid, that's where you're going to end up at.
Right, so I'm just asking, do you want just an opinion, I mean, are you gonna get just an opinion from the county engineer, or do you want his letter of stamped approval also?
What I would say is, what you're gonna ask for is you're gonna ask the county engineer to inspect that, to confirm that the project engineer has fulfilled that task and has done that, I guarantee, within, I mean, part of your responsibility includes the safety, public safety approving that design. So it's basically an inspection to confirm that they fulfilled their task. And if not, it'll be a highlight of, hey, we don't think you fulfilled your task here, meaning you haven't completed one of the conditions of the preliminary approval. I view it as an inspection to ensure that the preliminary approval conditions have been met, rather than a new condition being added.
Yes.
And I'll work with Nicole and do that on that.
Okay. We're a little behind, it looks like. All right. Next on our agenda is Josh Obert, and to discuss the removal of the solid waste $5 fee.
So, good morning. Since I started with Public Works, I've been reviewing the solid waste budget and looking for areas that we can improve our services and become more efficient. The $5 large household fee is one of those areas that I think that we can give back a little bit to the public and become a little bit more efficient. The $5 fee is just not adequate enough to cover the expense of office supplies and the personnel costs involved in invoicing, billing, and receiving this. With the added detractor of I drive around and inspect the solid waste outreach canister sites daily. Every morning that I go out there, there are large household items laying on the ground outside the walking gate. People are holding on to them until the canister sites are closed, and they're setting it on the ground outside the gate so they don't have to pay the $5 fee. I've heard a lot of negativity around this area. At the end of the day, it's not cost effective for us to do, and I believe if we remove this $5 fee, that we will have a greater amount of residents that are willing to use the canister sites during their open hours, and our dump sites will look a lot cleaner and nicer. So with that, I'm requesting the approval of the commission to remove the $5 fee.
Okay. We're kind of making a deal with our users to
Yes, sir.
dispose of their stuff properly if we do something like this, which I hope that they will. I know that's the concern, and
It is.
it's been ongoing. And I guess it doesn't make sense for us to try to charge a fee that we can't.
We're spending
We're spending probably more money in trying to recover a $5 fee. So
It would almost have to be double or more
Yeah.
to be able to recoup that.
right, yeah, I understand that. Well, I mean, I guess as we stated when we first started this project, that we would revisit these issues and we'd refine it and make changes along the way. And I guess this is one of those changes. Is there a motion to remove the fee?
I'll make a motion to remove the $5 solid waste fee from large household items.
I'll second the motion.
All right, motion's been made and seconded to remove the $5 solid waste fee from large household items. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries. Okay, next, Mike Myers, acceptance of the Montana DES grant. Mike? It's been a while since we had first applied for this grant, and now that we've been successful in receiving it, maybe kind of give everybody a kind of a brief overview of what we were trying to do.
Well, back in January, I applied for 2 Homeland Security grants. One for a generator to run the whole sheriff's office and the courthouse, because the existing generator doesn't only runs about half of the detention center. So it's kind of a security thing, and if we ever have a problem, and
we kind of discovered that when we had that issue, didn't we?
Yep, a couple of years ago. So, and then the other, the existing generator runs a portion of the sheriff's office. With the new generator, it'll run the entire sheriff's office, detention center, and the courthouse, and we'll have a better capability for an emergency or long-term power outage. Also, the existing generator will run the dinner hall for a food and warming shelter in an emergency, if we ever have a problem there. The second grant was to enhance and upgrade our security system for $42,900 at the sheriff's office and the courthouse. Because we need to upgrade, we're kind of behind the times. So then requesting so we can move forward, the obligating document award, I need you guys to sign so I can get that off and get our grant. That's the obligating document award is saying that we'll accept the grants.
All right, great. I just want to congratulate you, and Mike Conkey was involved in this, and he's not here today, but for us to receive 2 substantial grants like that is great work, so congratulations on that.
Yeah, they were difficult. Grants are a little difficult.
Yeah.
Learned a lot from them.
All right.
So that's what I'm requesting, is if you guys assign these, and then I got 2 documents to do. I got a cybersecurity on after October 2nd to take, and then I got 2 environmental historical preservation screens to do for both of them. Okay. So we won't be able to move forward until those are done, and then once they take about 2 months to get approved.
When do you think that these projects will be able to take place? Next spring, is that what we're looking at? Or
the security one will probably be right after the first of the year, and I need to set up a meeting with you guys and sheriff and under sheriff and probably the county attorney, so we can talk about some of the security things that we'd like to. We can make a few little tweaks to it, so add a few things and this and that.
Okay. And then the generator will be in the spring.
Generator will be in the spring. We got to do the RFPs and all that.
Right.
So that'll take a few months. It'll probably take the next 6 months just to get the RFPs out and get everything dialed in exactly what is going to happen. And then we can move forward with the project.
All right, good. And is there a timeline on when we have to have this done?
In October 31st next year.
Okay. So we're going to have to kind of push it a little bit.
Yep.
All right, very good.
All right.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Make a motion to accept and sign the Montana DES emergency generator and courthouse security grants.
Second.
Okay, motion's made and second to sign the DES obligating documents for the generator and courthouse security. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries. Okay. All right, next on the agenda is David Whiteley, Winston Mine Company, mining plan protocol and the easement request.
I'm Darrell Johnson, the spokesman for the company.
Okay.
I'm safety manager, and I've got a little packet here for you guys. What I'm going to do is just line out who we are, what we're doing, and what we'd like help with. And then we've had some problems locally, and I just addressed some of the problems that we've had. I'll just read this, so if you're okay with it.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
I'm going to try and convey to you who Rockhead Consulting LLC really is. The company was started by David Ranoff Whiteley in June of 2014. David has been a hard rock miner all his adult life. In January 2019, Dave took Tim Kirk Hunter as a full partner in the company. Together, the two of them have 80 years of mining experience, and that includes just about every type of mining there is. They've held every position there is at a mine or construction site, from laborer, shift worker, miner, lead miner, shift boss, mine foreman. My wife told me I spelled foreman wrong. Mine superintendent, manager, project manager, and now owner of their own hard rock mining and construction company. They're both MSHA and OSHA trained and with a wealth of experience and knowledge about this industry. Now I want to tell you what Rockhead Consulting is all about, who we really are. Dave and Tim employ about 20 employees at the present. Everything from security and surface labor to underground labor and up to mine superintendent. Counting these 20 employees and their spouses, children, and people living with them, you end up with about 120 people living, working, and sharing in the everyday life that goes on in Broadwater and Lewis and Clark counties. Rockhead Consulting has a large payroll, and they not only pay very well, but they provide excellent health and insurance benefits for their employees. We've recently had people that we had to quarantine for COVID, and they received their full pay while they're off. We took care of them. Our people work close together all through, not as close since COVID-19 showed up. We do try to practice social distancing. Come out to the mine, I'll show you my COVID corner. Anything and everything about COVID-19 we posted. We also live close together with each other and everyone else in the local community. I believe we're providing a lot of needed revenue to both Broadwater and Lewis and Clark counties. For us, mining is more than a paycheck. It's a lifestyle. It's who we are. In mining, we look at each other as family, and that is something that carries over into the community where we live. My son goes to school in Townsend. We looked all over the area and finally settled on Townsend for our home. We plan on our son finishing all his schooling through high school. What a wonderful community we now live in. I live in Mayberry. It's awesome. Rockhead Consulting needs to stay open and continue to operate the Winston Gold Mine. A lot of good people, both working at the mine and living in the local community, are dependent on this job. 3 things are needed to be successful at a mine site. Number 1 is the health, safety, and well-being of everyone at the mine site. That's number 1. Number 2 is the environmental stewardship that is required and necessary to operate. And number 3 is the productivity of the project. All 3 steps are necessary and required to be successful. You can't be successful without all 3 of those steps. And that's our policy. I mean, we believe that completely. Especially on the safety and the environmental stewardship. We go by the book. We're looking for another way out to haul our ore and to minimize our traffic for the local residents. We're asking for your help concerned with this situation. We feel that we have a lot to offer our employees and communities that will benefit from them living there. Our people are good people who have a lot to offer and contribute to this area. And I thank you for your time and concern. And then now I'll get into some of the situations we've been having. May 30th, 2020, spike in the road incident. On May 30, 2020, at approximately 6 a.m., Randy Cochran, one of our miners, ran over a steel plate with a spike that had been added to it. It was designed for one purpose, to puncture tires. It had placed just past the first cattle guard on Muffley Lane heading towards our mine site. Since May 30th, 2020, there have been several more flats and tire punctures because of spikes and nails placed in the roadway. We did not know who or why someone would do this. It could have possibly led to a car wreck on the main highway and it's an extremely dangerous and malicious act. I mean, someone could actually lose their life getting on the freeway, you know. And September 11th, 2020, new private road signs added to Muffley Lane. On September 11th, 2020, John Grailhurt added his own private road signs to Muffley Lane sometime earlier. He took down the 35-mile-an-hour county speed limit sign and added his own 50-mile-an-hour sign. He added a sign with his distillery name also. I have pictures in the back of this. September 17, 2020, spike in the road incident. On September 17, 2020, at approximately 12:57 p.m., Jason Allison, he's one of our employees, observed John Grellert pull out of his driveway in a silver pickup truck and drive up to the cattle guard, stop and get out of his truck just in front of the first cattle guard on Muffley Lane heading towards our mine site. Mr. Grellert walked up to the front driver's side of the truck, set something on the ground. Next, he got back into his truck, backed up into his driveway, and then drove back out on the roadway heading towards Winston. Jason drove up to the cattle guard and discovered that what had been placed on the road was an extremely dangerous-looking spike made of 2 nails welded together that had been designed to do great damage to a vehicle or tire. The spike had been placed in a position on the road that anyone driving through the cattle guard from either direction would have run over it. Upon seeing the spike in the road, Jason immediately called the Sheriff's Department of Broadwater County. He asked them to come to the location of the spike. The time was approximately 1 p.m. Jason then called David Whiteley and Tim Hunter to come to the location of the spike to witness what he had found. David and Tim showed up and took pictures of the spike. David then called the safety manager, Darrell Johnson, to come and witness the spike. Darrell also took pictures of the spike in the road. Then they waited for the Sheriff's Department to arrive. Once the deputies arrived, they took pictures of the spike and took the spike into their possession. No one had touched, moved, or handled the spike until the deputies took it. Jason then wrote out his witness statement for the deputies. The deputies also took down everyone's name and phone number. The deputies left us and went to the Stonehouse Distillery that was owned by John Grellert, the person who placed the spike on Muffley Lane just in front of the cattle guard. We were not allowed to take part of that process because it had become an ongoing investigation at this time. November 18, 2020, Stein removal incident. On Friday, September 11th, Jason Allison, at approximately 10:45 a.m. in the presence of the Broadwater County Sheriff, David Whiteley, Undersheriff David Whiteley, and Tim Hunter, removed 2 signs from a post on Muffley Lane belonging to John Grellert. Upon removal of the signs from the post, Jason handed the signs to the Broadwater County Sheriff deputy, who took possession of the 2 signs. John Grellert drove up and asked where his signs were. The deputy told him that he was taking them with him. We would like to have the private 50-mile-an-hour sign that John put up taken down and a 35-mile-an-hour sign put back. He took down a county sign and put up his own signs. September 9th, 19, 2020, intimidation with a firearm. At 4 p.m., Ron Sharp and Ethan Coppage were standing on the west side of the Tech Services office when they heard a series of 2 gunshots. Now, just a little background. This is at the time we've got 1 crew coming to work and 1 crew leaving. There were several people across on the other side of the road having some get together, people there at the distillery, just a lot of people in the area, and this guy decides to target practice. They suspected them to be coming from the east. A 3rd shot confirmed their suspicions. Ethan Coppage got in his vehicle to investigate the source of the noise and attempted to determine if the shots were fired with malintent. With that many people around, we wanted to know what's going on, who's shooting. You know, we felt like we needed to take a safety check. When he passed the Stonehouse Distillery, he waved at the people standing in the driveway. He noticed a gentleman standing on the driveway holding a black tactical rifle. It looked like an AR type of rifle. He then drove down to the end of Muffley Lane where he turned around. Upon his re-arrival to Stonehouse Distillery, the gentleman who was holding the rifle was clearly holding it at a manner where Ethan would see he was armed. Like that, you know. So, I just wanted to document this. It's starting to alarm me now, the stuff that's happening. I really fear that this could escalate if we don't get a handle on it right now. If you turn the next page, you see the spike from Randy Cochran, definitely intended to cause a flat. And then on the other page, 9/17/2020, you see the spike that was made. It's made so that if you roll over it, it flips over, and as you drive, it'll keep puncturing, putting holes in your tire. That's the idea behind this. So, and the spike stuck about this high. If you stepped on it, you could have been injured. So this, in a position where whatever direction you were going over the cattle guard, you would have hit it. Then I have Jason's statement, which I'd already talked about. And then on the next page over, you see the signs that were added. Private road, no turnaround, no commercial industrial traffic. Violators will be prosecuted. The person who put the signs up has been stopping our vendors saying, this is our private road. You cannot drive on here. You know, you will be arrested. And we were told that, no, that's not true. So, anyway, and then again, Jason's statement. And then Ron Sharp and Ethan Coppage, the 2 people that checked the source of the gunshots. I won't read their statements because I covered it earlier. And then on the back, I have some text. This is just kind of the hostile way we've been getting treated. I'm not going to read them because of the language. I'll let you look them over. But this is the kind of text that my boss receives from this person. And I'll just turn to my letter on the back, and I'll read that. Okay, it's the very last one on the page. John Grillert, and I might be pronouncing that wrong, has sent numerous texts to David Whiteley. They were not very pleasant, to say the least. Almost all of them were in the form of a threat about what he would do. David never answered back with a harsh text or call. On September 9th, 2020, John invited me to his distillery bar area to talk about what we could do, and I was glad to go see, you know. He said he would like to work things out, and I said we would too. I mean, I was tickled. Hey, we got a chance to start some dialogue. We had a nice conversation. I told him that I understand a homeowner wanting to protect his property would like to find another roadway to haul our ore out. And that's what we wanted to talk to you guys about, getting some kind of a variance if we could have another road to where we didn't have to disturb these people, you know. We had a nice conversation. Okay, he told me that he had talked to people and said, okay, after I said that what we wanted to do, find another roadway, he told me that he had talked to people already and said that that was not going to happen. And I'm just curious who he talked to in the government. You know, I don't know. I don't know anything about it. So much for working things out. He informed me that the homeowners owned Muffley Lane and we could do nothing. We could not do anything about it. He said they could restrict anyone from traveling on their road. They could hand out citations and even arrest someone. I did not understand if he meant that they could do that or the sheriff would do it. You know, he wasn't clear. He just said, you know, you will be arrested and citations and prosecuted. And anyway, I kept my composure and said, regardless, I would hope that we could be friends. I said, when this is all said and done, I'd like to say you were my friend. You know, we can agree and disagree, but we don't, you know, we still need to be civil about this, is what I said. He then told me about how important his dog was to him, and I said, I understand about that. I know how easy it is to become attached to your animals. He said they didn't have kids, and this dog was like their child, and I understand that. You know, we have a little dog that's, she's like one of my kids. She's family. She sleeps by my pillow every night. Then he said if anything happened to his dog, he would kill someone. And I do not know how that pertains to me or our company. It just kind of caught me off guard. You know, we're not planning on harm. I've never even seen his dog. You know, how am I going to harm it? After that, I said I should go. I thought, well, it's time for me to leave. And I thanked him for his hospitality. He said he did not like minors, but he liked me. And I told him I would always give him an honest answer to an honest question. And that's for real. I'll never lie to him about anything. He gave me a free bottle of coconut rum, and I said that I would try to work something out for all of us, and he said, good. I said, you know, give me a chance. I'll try to see what we can come up with. And Dave had made a meeting to come to, appointment to come here, and so we were hoping that things could be worked out. But then 2 days later, we put up his signs and started telling our vendors that they could not use Muffley Lane anymore. So he didn't even wait for me to try. So anyway, that's where we're at. That's who we are. We're not just a company coming in just to rape the environment and the community run. We're family. We live here. We plan on staying here. Some of our people are buying homes here, you know. So I just wanted you to see who we are. We're not just a mining company that's going to come in and rape and pillage. I mean, we actually live here. This is part of our home now. We want to take care of it. So I guess that's pretty much what I have to say.
Okay. We'll probably have some questions for you in a little bit.
Yes, go ahead.
I mean, we'll discuss this.
Okay.
There'll probably be some questions. Come up.
I know that this is not something that's going to be settled today,
Yeah.
and we know that.
Mhm.
We just want to start the ball working. I don't want this to escalate to where somebody gets injured.
Mhm.
I'll be honest, I'm scared about this, that someone could be harmed. You know, we don't want that. We do not want that. All of our people have been told to stand down, not to be aggressive or anything. What the sheriff told us, if they get stopped, to roll the window up and call the sheriff's department immediately and let the sheriff handle it. And that's what we do, what we will do. So,
Are you guys currently mining now? Are you hauling ore?
not yet. We would like to start soon. Right now, we're still in development. We do have some ore coming out because as we cross areas, we have ore. And of course, you don't throw it away. We save it on our property out of the way. Right now, we're development phase, and we're aggressively working on our secondary escapeway. You have to have 2 escapeways in and out of the mine, and we've already started our secondary. So,
Okay.
and we follow guidelines. We follow MSHA standards to the letter. You know, MSHA state, local. Okay, we are going to haul some more on Wednesday.
Oh, okay.
There's first load of ore.
All right, and I guess just out of curiosity, where are you hauling your ore?
Radersburg.
Oh, okay,
We have a mill at Radersburg. It's been approved by MSHA,
okay.
and everything we do has to be approved legally, federally,
Mhm.
and we follow all the guidelines. I've got a book of standards that thick. And anyway, like I say, we have nothing to hide. If anybody wanted to come up and have a look-see, you're more than welcome. I'd appreciate it if you did.
Yeah.
And talk to our people, see who our people are,
Okay, are you planning to mine year round?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. It's a good job for the people that are there.
Mhm.
And like I say, it provides a lot of income. The people that live here, they're spending money here. They're part of it. It's a win-win for all of us. And like I say, we follow guidelines completely to the letter. We don't shortchange on the environment, on safety, whatever. We've got guidelines we follow really strict.
Sure. Now, you mentioned an alternative route.
Well,
What
okay,
did you
we're
have in
thinking
mind?
about the back way around. There is a place on the tracks where there was already a crossing, a road in place. And we're just starting to research it. We'd have to get with the railroad and get their approval, and that could take a while.
Mm-hmm.
But if we could do a back way around the backside of the mine and over, we would completely bypass everybody. And it would just take care of all the problems.
Sure.
And of course, it's going to cost us quite a bit to do that. But we want to. We'd like to, do this in a nice, easy way. No problems, no hassles.
Okay.
So we're not looking for a fight. That's not us.
Sure.
And like I say, these people, they're like my kids.
Mhm. Yeah, I
So,
understand that.
yeah. And it transfers to the community. We live here. This is our home, and we're proud of that.
Okay.
So
All right. All right, thank you for.
thank you,
You bet.
and I do appreciate your concern and your time. Thank you very much.
Mhm. So I guess is the first conversation we need to have is Muffley Lane a county road?
So I met with, I don't know if you want to use the mic or not, I will. So I met with Sergeant Buck Thursday afternoon. He had gone up and he was the officer that responded to this with the little nail apparatus. And he's working on that. That's his investigation that we're not going to comment on. Then I met Friday with Deputy Lewis, who went up in response to the signs. And I told him, go ahead and take those signs down if they're not already down, because those are privately made signs. And then I met with John Greylert for probably 30 to 45 minutes Friday. He's under the impression that's not a county road. Nicole and I spent about an hour Friday looking at the subdivision, all the subdivision documents for that subdivision say it's a county road, and it would be going through. It also has a public easement that goes all the way through. I have not had time to do the research on going back into time of when that was a county road. I think what I would recommend you guys do also is so who owns the property that you're using? Is
Darko Smilovic.
It's owned by Winston Realty? Okay.
Correct.
So I would find out if he has property records of a private easement as well.
I've already done that. He doesn't.
He doesn't? Okay. So it's either county road or
I was
it's either
thinking
county
of a
road
title
or
company and trying to get more research done
Yeah.
there. That's about my last out.
okay. Because what I told Mr. Greylert is I said, look, even if this thing is not a county road, which I don't have any evidence that it's not, you probably got a constructive easement from years of use. But that's good. That would be an issue where the two private parties would have to go to court and fight that out, and be a long process. But everything that I have from the subdivision document says it's a county road, and so I informed Mr. Greeler, you can't put signs on county road. You can't change the easement, the speed limit. You can't change the weight restrictions. Only the county can do that. And so, they took the signs down, they gave them back to John, and then I talked to him. I was about 6 o'clock Friday night, the last time I talked to him on the phone, and I just said, look, we do not want this thing to escalate. You guys need to work it out. In the meantime, you know, basically what his request was, don't have people driving like crazy on the road, and I said, I'm sure they're not gonna do that.
Our policy is if I catch one of my minors driving fast, they get 3 days off without pay. They get actually terminated for driving recklessly on that road.
Okay.
That's our policy. We got it right.
Yeah, and I wasn't aware of a couple of these things. I wasn't aware of the May spike in the tire. I wasn't aware
Well, it's
of
happened. It's been happening off and on.
9 tires.
9 tires.
Okay, and I wasn't aware of the firearm issue.
That
so,
scared me because there were a lot of people around, people coming and going. A high-powered rifle. And
Yeah.
I mean, it scares me. You know, it's going to get to the point where somebody's going to get injured. Or, God forbid. You know, we don't want that to happen.
So what I'm going to do is I'll give a packet of this to Sergeant Buck. I don't know. Have you guys talked to him?
Yes,
at all?
he's excellent. I was going to
Okay.
go hand them one over there. Too.
Okay, yeah, that'd be fine.
So
And
I'm
then
gonna give you one also, because I didn't.
we'll continue to work on it. But regardless, I mean, we can't let this thing turn into a big mess. Now, I think you guys are aware that there's some of the back history is we're in litigation against Winston Realty and some other folks due to the tire dump that was up
Right,
there.
and we'll stay out of that.
Yeah,
because
I understand. What I'm saying is, I think some of what's happened is the current environment, I think, is somewhat affected by that.
Yes, of course it is.
But those are separate issues.
What we're doing right now is trying to look after our family right now.
Mhm. Yep. Can you tell us your name for the record, please?
David Whiteley.
Okay, David, pleased to meet you. So I guess my concern is can these guys safely do their job up there in mine till we get this sorted out?
Yeah, I mean, I've met with John twice. Or I guess I talked to him on the phone, and then I met with him. And I'd happy to, or have the sheriff go up and meet with the homeowners and say, look, you guys have a problem. Let's work this out. The bottom line is, you can't be changing speed limits and weight limits and putting obstructions in the road and all that, because that's very dangerous and criminal, and there won't be any tolerance for that. I think long term, I am concerned about the maintenance on that road. If you guys are hauling a lot of loads, that road is it's gonna definitely be beyond the normal maintenance needs of a county road. So
We'd like to see if we could talk to you about some mag chloride for the road.
So, and did you meet Mr. Robert?
No.
So talk to him. He's in charge of all of our public works.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll research this thoroughly. I mean, that's why we're here. We want to get the ball rolling. And here's the thing, we want to be in compliance with the federal government, state of Montana, and the county, Broadwater County. We want to be in compliance with everybody.
Right.
You know, what we do.
Okay. I think that's a great option to consider the mag chloride from the dust and standpoint and things like that. Might go a long ways to
And I don't know
help and resolve some of your issues. So
I don't know if this matters, but you mentioned the tire thing. And we have an agreement that in 5 years we'll buy that property, and I'm gonna say we got enough commodity there, we're gonna do that. If we buy that property, you got my word, I'll take them tires and dispose of them properly.
I've done this man for
Well,
40 years.
I'm really hoping our lawsuits all resolve before that.
That's just a heads up, that's what kind of people we are, that's what we'll do.
What do you think's the life of that mine then?
I've got 10 years per year now, about $100 million commodity.
Okay.
That's that's a lot of work, a lot of people.
Well, I hope the lawsuit's done before 5 years. Since we're 2 years into it already, so.
Yeah.
all right.
Well, that's
So
why we're here, to get the ball rolling.
so Daryl, do you or David, who you want to be our contacts? I mean,
I prefer Darryl.
okay.
Yeah, you got
And
my
I
number.
have on the
Yeah.
top here. This
My
is
phone is on 24/7. I'm a
Okay.
safety manager. I have to
Sure.
be accessible to everybody.
all right. So this phone number, email address, and that's
Right,
That-
versus
that's
7.
how we can get a hold of you?
Yes.
Okay.
So, and on my phone, I turn it off twice a week, just to reboot it, turn it right back on. And if I don't, then it starts acting funny.
Sure.
But, yeah, no, I'm accessible, and we want to work with you guys, and we covet your help. We really want.
all right. Well, I commend you. You've taken the right approach, and hopefully that we can get this worked out, and everybody can be happy.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you for coming in today.
Let me ask you this. If the commission were to consider a temporary reduction of that speed limit, would that be a problem? Because it was 35 before. If it was down to 15 or 20, would that cause problems for you guys?
Why?
I'm just saying, if you have a lot of traffic and you have a lot of...
We plan on going maybe 15, 20 anyways, but it's just the point right now, you know.
No, what I'm saying, if the county does it as opposed to...
Well, if the county does it, we're gonna comply.
That's what I'm
We're
saying.
gonna we'll comply with anything you guys put up, we'll comply with.
Okay, I'm just
As long as
asking,
that's your decision.
I'm just asking what kind of impact it has on you.
Like I said, compliance. I check people as they come into the mine site. I see every vehicle that comes in. I do a temperature check. Everybody get out of their car till they do the temperature.
So what's going on? That sign got changed to 15 because in the law it says on a mine site it's 15 mile per hour is your maximum speed. So he's gonna claim that that's a 15 mile an hour mine road, and then I gotta take care of it. It's what my attorney's telling me. So that's where we're headed. If you guys change the sign back, that sign, after it's been, a sign has been established for so long, it'll pretty much go into law. I don't want it to do that.
Okay, so, but that's on the mine site. That's not on the
No.
county road leading up to the mine site,
As
correct?
soon as that's not correct. As soon as you come through the last cattle guard, you're on mine site.
I know what I'm
posted.
No, I know. I'm saying the restriction on 15 miles an hour on a mine site is when you're actually on the mine site,
Yes.
not the
That's
road leading up to it.
That's correct.
Okay, yeah.
If it's adjacent, it's up to you guys,
Right.
if it's county.
Right.
Okay, you have some questions?
Debbie Randolph is saying that it's really hard to hear people, so when you guys start talking, we need you guys to go to that mic,
Yeah,
because she's
okay.
not hearing.
And that's true, we do need to do that.
But I'll just,
I have nothing further.
We get used to
We need to
carrying on our
establish-
conversations.
We need to establish a legal norm on those signs, is what we're talking about,
speak up there, Joe.
We want to establish the legal norm for those signs, not just a hearsay. Okay, that's what we're looking for. What do you guys want the legal limit to be? That's what we
Well, the
want.
problem is, when we went to the DEQ, we had to tell the speed limit that we would comply with, and we put 35. It was 30, that was the speed limit. So now we're contradicting DEQ. If this is 15, I gotta go to the DEQ and change stuff. That's my issue with that.
Okay.
Well, so on a county road, the county commission sets the speed limit, okay? So if the county commission wants to go through the process after hearing from everybody and reduce it, you know, plenty of notice, and those laws go into effect once they vote on it and the sign is posted, okay? So what my communication to Mr. Graylert was, you don't have lawful authority to change the speed limit on a county road. So it'll be up to them what they do there, but obviously, I'm sure they're going to ask everyone in the area what their recommendation is.
I'm good with that.
Okay.
You guys really are busy. Glad you were here today, thank you.
Okay, anything else? No? Okay. Well, thank you for coming in. Hopefully we can all work together to find a solution.
It's our goal.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Corey, for coming over. Any questions or anything?
No,
No.
just the hearing.
I don't understand why we're having such an
I don't
issue.
know, we might have to have Ken come in
Yeah.
and do some testing and to see. Are you watching?
Yeah.
Can you hear? Because I've had texts and on there that they're not hearing.
Yeah, it just depends a little bit on the person, so I just play with the volume a little bit sometimes, but yeah, I can usually hear. Yeah, some people, like, if there are people at the podium, they're always the easiest to hear.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Somebody's security system. All right, so next on our agenda is our contract with Broadwater County Extension Agent and MSU. So we have received that contract, and I sent this to Debbie for her review, and it is all in order with our budget and everything that we have agreed on. And so it's just a matter of signing the contract.
I'll make a motion to sign the contract for the Broadwater County Extension Agent contract with MSU Extension Services.
Is there a second?
Was that on the website?
Yes, it was.
Okay, I will second the motion.
Okay.
Just pulling it up now.
Okay.
Again.
Okay. All right. Motion's made and seconded to sign the contract. We need MSU and Broadwater County for our extension agent. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries.
Guess you get paid, Allison.
And by the way, we love Allison. And we're probably going to lose her here pretty quick, huh?
Well, I'd be okay with that any day, but hopefully not for another week or two.
All right. Well, keep us posted, will you?
I will.
Thank you for everything you do, Allison. Okay, moving on. Next on the agenda is the ACH software, which gives the county the ability to pay claims electronically. And ACH stands for Automated Clearinghouse. I had to look that one up. But this is some of the advantage of this. One of the things we're trying to do is streamline our claims paying abilities, but also this gives us the opportunity to pay claims if we're required to telecommute again, or say for some reason our courthouse is shut down. The way we do it now is we have to print checks. They need to be signed. They need to come back, put in envelopes, and mailed out. So this way we can actually just deposit that money into our vendors' accounts. So it not only streamlines our claims process, reduces the cost, and it's going to be better for our businesses. I think it probably may eliminate some of the late fees that we incur. And as of lately, we've been having some of our stuff lost or being late delivery in the mail. So it's just one more thing that allows better continuity of our government. And that amount is $1,100 to purchase this software. And then it's just a $100 annual fee to maintain it.
Thursday, right?
Is that who this contract would be with ACH?
No, actually, we'll be with Black Mountain.
It'd be Black Mountain?
Black
Okay.
Mountain, yeah.
I'll make the motion to approve the installation and maintenance of the ACH software for electronic claims payments.
Second.
All right, great. Motion's made and seconded to approve the ACH claims payment from Black Mountain. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries. Next on our agenda is the decision to request, or the trust board request to transfer funds. And I will read the letter from the trust board to Broadwater County Commissioners, transfer funds from First Premier. Dear Broadwater County Commissioners, September 14th, 2020 was the monthly meeting of the Broadwater County Trust Board. At that meeting, the Trust Board voted to approve a transfer of $250,000 from the First Premier Trust account to the Trust Board Broadwater County account. The Trust Board requests that the Commissioners handle the paperwork and transfer the funds as soon as possible. Steve McCullough. So the way I understand this, Mike, and maybe you can help me on this, is the First Premier account gets to a specific trigger amount, and then they transfer that into the Broadwater County account. Is that correct?
Yeah, and their limit, I believe, is $275. Is that right, Al? Do you know what the limit is? The limit is $2,750,000. And right now you've got 300 and something in there?
A little over 3 million, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so we'll just transfer some of that money out of there to stay at that threshold.
There's no established trigger amount, it's just
Oh, okay.
the trust board looks at that and
They balance that out.
where things are, you know, it's like,
Sure.
do we risk that much by leaving it in there, or do we take some out and put it in the county account, which is state?
And the First Premier, that's the investment account. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
I'll make the motion to handle the paperwork to transfer the funds as soon as possible.
Second motion, it's a good idea.
All right. Motion's made and seconded to transfer the $250,000 from the First Premier account to the Broadwater County account. Is there any public discussion? Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries. Next on the agenda is the handicap chairlift at the Silos Boat Docks, repairs and costs. So, I guess it was brought to our attention that the handicap chairlift at the Silos Boat Dock was no longer usable. And Richard Tramp took it upon himself to get the repair costs and parts. So the parts for that would come to $803. Normally it would have been over $1,000, but the company said we still had a 5-year warranty on the parts, or some of the parts. They will give us a 40% discount, and apparently that lift was damaged because of some water got into the motor, and also partially because of some vandalism. So $803.85 is the amount for the parts to repair that. But do you have any more information, Mike, on that?
Yeah, when this grant was approved by the trust board, it says it here that who will operate and maintain this project when completed. It says Walleyes Unlimited and Silos KOA. So I would assume that this would be the responsibility of our concessionaire and the I believe it's the Gallatin Valley Walleyes Unlimited Association. Is that who originally funded it, who originally asked for this project? Walleyes Unlimited of Gallatin.
I believe so, but
So I think that's who's responsible for the repairs. It's between our concessionaire and Walleyes Unlimited of Gallatin.
okay. All right, so I guess maybe the thing to do is get a hold of those folks and see if they're agreeable to making those repairs and covering those costs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Taking any input?
Yes. Go on up here, Al, please.
You know I can't resist.
I
Okay. Thank you, Commissioners. Good morning. First of all, I speak as a private citizen, not as a member of a board or representing any group or other entity other than myself today. So, the handicap chair. Yes, I think you have the stuff there on how that was put in. The Walleye group I know was part of it, and in fact Richard was the driver behind that. I believe it was known last fall that chair was not operational, and some discussions were held to try and get it fixed. And I believe you were probably informed earlier this spring that was going to be done.
Mhm.
And that the repair parts had been ordered and we're just waiting. The unfortunate part is that no repairs were made all summer long. And in fact, the person that was responsible for getting that chair put in place was in fact a person that could have used that chair virtually all summer long, along with anybody else that tried to or was interested to that could not. And I believe your thing is background that Mr. Tramp has done. He's also been a person that has spent many, many hours down the boat ramp down there all summer helping with the work to get the parking lot done, get the gravel laid, and the kiosks and all that. In fact, he donated his backhoe to go dig the holes and was down there hobbling around with other volunteers to get all that put in place. And so the unfortunate part is that it almost appears that he would be responsible for getting those repairs done and paying for them. I believe under the agreement that the county and the BOR have, that any facilities placed into the silos area become the manager's property to maintain in good condition. And so that then falls on the county through that agreement, and falls to your concession operator through the agreement with that contract. I think it states that things are to be kept in good repair. And so there are two things over the course of the summer that didn't happen to. One is obviously the chair, and the other is the boat launch ramp over on the south deal. So, you know, I don't want to tell you guys how to do your stuff, but I think the ultimate responsibility lies with the county, and then you get to figure out how to sort through all that stuff. But I think it would be a travesty to have a individual who helped put all that stuff in place and has helped do a lot of work down there, be the one that pulls the money out of their pocket to cover those costs for repair. And I think, as you said, it's obvious that certainly at least some of the repair is from misuse of that chair down there, which is behind a secured gate. So I don't know how that happens, but somebody either had a key to get behind the gate or just swam around. It's not hard to do either one. But I just think you guys, from my standpoint, I would appreciate that you guys, you know, figure out how to take care of that cost. And I know Mr. Tramp is actually driving to Missoula tomorrow on his own gas to pick up the parts and all that stuff and get it put back together. There's been at least one other individual that's been involved in helping, trying to figure out what happened and why it happened and all that stuff. But I think it would be a misstep to have the private individuals paying for repair of those facilities that I believe fall under the onus of the agreement between you guys and the BOR. How you sort that out is up to you. So, thank you.
And I agree, Al.
Right.
You're absolutely right. So we want to have that discussion then with JSJ. And I don't know, is Richard the contact for the Gallatin walleyes? I mean,
He's our local guy that
yeah.
does all the talking.
Okay.
There's another the actual chapter chair, but he's not very active in the discussions.
Gotcha. Is that what we want to do then?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. We'll have that conversation, but I agree that Richard should not be paying for these parts.
So what's the plan?
We'll have a conversation with Gallatin Walleyes and JSJ, since it says in the grant document that they are responsible to maintain that and get those parts paid for. I think Richard's still willing to just volunteer his time to make the repairs, and which is fantastic.
It is fantastic. There's been a tremendous number of volunteers who have put in their personal time, money, gas, expertise to make a lot of the things at the silos happen. I would request that you guys honor those volunteers, as well as Al, who is 100% correct on this, in your decision making on this. BOR was also mentioned, unfortunately, or fortunately, I'm not sure which. The docks are ours. They belong to the county. And so the county also has some obligation to our folks who cannot utilize certain services and certain opportunities we have through no fault of their own. Certainly need for ADA assistance is one of those things where we need to be cognizant of who our citizens are and who we serve. The other thing to think about, if you want to go beyond that, is the fact that the silos is an incredible economic driver, not only for Broadwater County. It's one of the ways we're able to pay for services and keep taxes low. But it's also a tremendous economic driver for the state. We need to be cognizant of that as well, since we have so many people who commute in and out of this county. So I would ask you to keep those things in mind in your deliberations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioners, my name is Cheryl Campbell. I'd ask you also to think about the fact that if you agree to foot this cost when another entity had already agreed some time ago, then you're setting another precedent.
I don't think we're agreeing to pay the cost.
Pardon?
I don't think we're agreeing to pay the cost.
Well, if you do.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. All right, any more discussion?
No.
All right. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to contact SJS and Walleyes Unlimited of Gallatin Valley to see about what we do with the cost for the repairs for the handicap chair at the silos, boat ramps.
Okay. Is there a second?
I will second the motion, although I have an awful lot of questions about the intent.
I guess I'm not sure. Yeah, I guess the intent is to get the lift repaired so that people can use it.
Yes, that's one thing we all agree on.
Okay.
That needs to be done to honor our citizens and provide the services that we as human beings are required to provide.
Okay. All right, so that was the second then?
It was, yes.
Okay.
I seconded the motion already.
Okay. Motion is made and seconded to contact, is it
Gallatin Walleyes Unlimited of Gallatin.
Okay, Walleyes Unlimited Gallatin and JSJ in regards to paying for the repair cost of the handicap lift at the Silos Boat Dock. Any public discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, motion carries. Okay, last item on our agenda is the airport lease for Charles Carver. And this particular lot is a hangar that has been there for many years, and this Charles bought it and has put a new concrete floor in it. He's putting a new hangar door on it. And then this is just, I shouldn't need to reset. He didn't buy it. He's leasing this lot that this hangar is on. You've seen a copy of it, right, Mike?
Okay, yeah, I've seen it.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the Carver Airport hangar lease.
Second.
Okay, motion is made and seconded to approve the Charles Carver Airport lease. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, we will sign that, and then we will take this to the city, and it requires their signature as well. Do you want this, Ann, or?
Sure.
Okay, and then when you bring it back, I'll take it down to the city hall. Right, anything?
No.
No, we're all good there? All right, I guess that concludes all the items that are on our agenda. Is there anything else?
Census,
Oh, yeah.
the report last Friday is Broadwater County was third in the state in responses for the past 4 days. We're at ninth in the state. We still have 680 households to report. We're at 61%. The state of Montana is now at 87.6. You have 9 more days to fill out your census.
All right. And I want to recognize Leona for her hard work in going around and distributing a bunch of census material. Good job. And it is extremely important. Anything else?
Nope.
All right. Guess we're adjourned. 11, what is that, 58? Oh, 50, oh, that's a little fast, that clock.
Yeah,